Hey guys, Tyler Ansman here with Tyler Ansman Performance. So today we're going to talk about kind of one of the critical pieces to development that I think a lot of times coaches and athletes sometimes kind of get impatient with or completely miss the boat with. All right, and so what that is we want to talk about how we build the engine first and then we refine the handling from there, okay? So we're kind of using a car analogy there. But if we think about this kind of in terms of why do we think we see so many position players can step on the mound for the first time? And the guys who are truly kind of like actually letting it eat, why do we see them put up like pretty impressive velocity numbers? They're still around the strike zone, right? It's not like they look like they've never played baseball before, right? Why can they do that? The inverse isn't necessarily true, right? And why can they perform at least at a velocity level or an output level that's pretty similar, right, to professional pitchers, right? Part of it is that they've been allowed to kind of throw athletically their entire lives. They've been allowed to kind of build that engine piece, right, this ultimate output stuff, and they've never been told, hey, just throw strikes, hey, just do all of these things that tend to push kids towards the path of throwing darts or having to perform immediately, right? I've talked about this in the past, but this is one of the reasons that I think it's so selfish and short-sighted when high school coaches, especially lower-level high school coaches, are talking about how, they really need guys to throw strikes now and how, 72 is the same as 82 or 80 is the same as 90 or whatever. And that may be true in this one really low-level kind of high school baseball league, and it may mean you win a city championship or something along those lines. But is this what's best for the kid long-term? Absolutely not, because 72 may play there when half of the lineup hasn't touched a baseball bat before. But ultimately, is this going to allow, if this kid wants to play in college, is this going to allow them the chance to do that developmentally? No, of course not, right? So we're being short-sighted by kind of putting kids in a box. Now, do we need to be able to compete also so that you kind of want to stay with the sport, you're getting enjoyment out of it, and we can be competitive, right? And so your teammates and everybody else can also have a good time? Absolutely, right? But there's kind of a happy medium to be had, and we really want to push kind of the building the engine, pushing the output kind of side of things, and then we refine things as we go on, right? So when guys come in and they throw 75, clearly their lowest hanging fruit is velocity development. It's going to immediately make everything else they do better. Are we going to take 3 days a week to do command training, or take this whole block of time early in the process to do pitch design work because they want to add a fourth pitch? No. What we're going to do is we're going to kind of build this output piece first. It's a rising tide that lifts all of the ships. And then certainly at some point, we're going to have to kind of work on command precision and those kinds of things. We're going to have to probably refine some of their arsenal. We're going to have to do all those things. But does that need to happen right away? Is that their biggest area of opportunity? Of course not. So kind of getting back to position players and why they're able to do this so well, we want to talk about kind of some qualities that they share with elite pitchers, right? Throwing at a high level it tends to be throwing kind of across the board. As implements change, there's going to be some other changes, but let's just stick with baseball for now, right? High-level throwers at a position and high-level throwers on the mound are going to do a lot of things very similarly, right? One of them is how well do we utilize kind of linear momentum? In both cases, really well, right? How well do we stop and kind of redirect that energy against the direction of the throw, right, with that lead leg block? Fairly well. How well do we kind of hold that counter rotation and time the torso rotation to kind of have these three distinct segments, right? We have pelvis, we have upper torso, and then we have shoulder or arm complex, right? How well do we do that? Pretty well if we're throwing hard, right? You watch O'Neal Cruz throw across the diamond, or kind of any great outfielder throw from their position. They're going to do a lot of these things really well, all right? Kind of the next piece. Do we lag the arm well to kind of create that stretch across the upper body and the pec? Yes, probably if we're throwing at a high level, right? All of these things have pretty significant carryover. So we want to think about kind of high-level throwing as a whole. This is something Paul Nyman used to talk about. We don't want pitchers at 12 years old. We want athletic throwers who we can turn into kind of high-level pitchers as they go. But if we turn them into pitchers too early, I think kind of the connotation is that they're commanding the ball at a really high level, that's the thing they focus on, or they have a curveball before anyone else. And it kind of allows you to have this distinct advantage when you're 12 that isn't going to hang around, because eventually other guys are going to throw curveballs. Other guys are going to get, kind of more refined command. But if you don't keep up with the absolute output side of things, you're just not going to continue to get those chances, right? So we need to do both, but let's take that opportunity while we can to kind of build the engine and not be short-sighted with winning, 8 and 12U championships, and kind of think about what is best for these athletes long-term, and that is building the engine, and then generally we're going to refine the kind of smaller pieces, the handling and those kinds of things from there. If you got questions, feel free to drop them below. Feel free to shoot us an email. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.